Hello everyone and welcome back. It's been long. I think I'm not posting constantly, even though I try to post per week or after 2 weeks, but I wasn't able to do that. I'm sorry about that. My health is not that good. Things not going well, but I've come here to try to break a certain thing that is troubling some developers, some people whilst they're using JavaScript. So I want to talk about these three keywords or these three decorators. We call them decorators that helps us to declare something in in JavaScript. I think if I mention the word declare, you understand what I'm trying to talk about or what I am trying to explain. I'm sorry about my grammar. Please bear with me. What I'm going to give you is something that is special. Don't mention my grammar. Don't try to find out why I'm saying that. I'm not that smart English speaker and I'm not that smart communicator. So it's a very hard thing to work out that kind of communication thing. That is why I'm trying to do some tutorials so that I can improve my grammar. I can improve the way I speak, where I can explain things to people. But I'm going to break this thing with you so that you can get understand. So what I've done here, I have my Visual Studio Code. You can use browser to output the code, but I'm using the terminal because I've already installed JavaScript, Node.js in my computer. So Node.js is JavaScript runtime. So what I'm talking about here is JavaScript. It's not Java. So I want to explain. I want just to show you something. I want to explain a thing that you can get understand. I tried to record as many videos, but it didn't come well because I doesn't know which way I can explain, and I tried to watch some videos from others, even though I know I understand the concept I wanted to record. But I just realized that if I can break that say in a way I understand, it can be something better. You can understand. I'm not going to use the programming logic or some kind of semantic ways of programming to explain that to you. What I want you to understand is why you shouldn't use var keyword in JavaScript. Mostly if you are doing some backend stuff or you are writing some kind of code that need strict logic, why you don't need to use a var keyword. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to console.log something. It's like a variable name that doesn't exist. So let me just say what can I give the variable name. Let me just write names. That's the name of the variable. I think it's a best thing to do. You can log this thing or you can connect your JavaScript file and code it in HTML file so that you can use Google Chrome Developer 2 to just test. That is if you don't have Node.js here, and I think Google Chrome through the white space in developers console, it can shows you in a clear and cleaner way than using the terminal. But if you're used to terminal, nothing wrong, and the thing what I'm going to do here is the same thing. But what I just want to share you is a better understanding and how you can skip those errors and write a clean code. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to call node our JavaScript runtime, and then I'm going to call the name of my app .js. Then I'm going to say app.js. You can just write app. The updated Node.js understands what kind of a file you are calling, so it looks up inside your folder and find out if there is an app.js file, then it executes what is in app.js file. So if I can click enter, you can see we have an error message here. You can't read the error message, that's why I'm trying to point you to Google Chrome console. It is a better console and you can use it the better way. It is cleaner than this Linux terminal. So you can see here, I can highlight the problem I'm facing here. Here, this is the reference of the error. Name is not defined at object anonymous, which is just giving the directory of my computer and where the Java app file is. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use ES6 decorators to 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 create the variable, our variable, to make our variable available. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put it under the console.log. So what I'm going to say, let names, and I'm going to create an array of names is equals to, let's just put even, or this is Orion and this is Chen, and the other name is John. So let's try to put 3 names. So what is happening here is I have created a variable that we call let. We call name. Let is not a variable, it's a decorator we use to hold JavaScript variables. So here is our variable names, and this is our array with data of 3 names. So what is happening here, I'm going to try to log out or to run our app and see what is going to happen. So you can see here now we have a different error method. Reference error cannot access names before initialization. So which means before we log out everything, or our before we tried to print out a data out of our console function, console.log function, or method, whatever you can call it, we should put data or the content we want to output using the console.log. So what I did here, I just initiate the variable names after the console.log, and then here it is not a possible thing to our output method to pick this variable and collect all those information and print out. The first thing you need to do is to create variable. I think that's the first fundamental of any programming language. Before you do anything, you can create the key, or what you can call the holder of your data, whatever you can call it. Just take a variable is a bucket or something that is a container we can use to put whatever we want to put inside it. So we have declared the names variable after the console.log, which means our console.log cannot access the data that was declared before it. But there is something we can do here. We can create something like a function, and then we can call the function. It's a function, we can do what we call a function call. So a function is something that is global. You can use it without finding is it first declared or it is declared lastly. So that's not what I want to get into. I'm getting into much detail, but what I'm trying to do here, I'm going to change the let keyword and put the var keyword and see what is the result we are going to get. If we just write node up here and try to print out, you can see now we are getting a result. The names variable is undefined, which means it is saying that we don't have those things, but we already have the names variable, which is not something that is true, and we have data inside our variable, but the var keyword is telling us that there is nothing that is initialized inside the variable. So you can see that the var keyword is global. I think when I'm trying to say global, when we start from line number 1, line number 2, line number 3, and the next lines we is going to follow depends on how many lines of code you've written. It is globalized to those lines of code, and it can access anything it wants, even though it is not going to bring out the best answer. But var keywords has access to work or to play around any kind of operation that is happening in our code. So to avoid that, what do we do? The thing is, you don't need to use the var keyword if you are doing things like you are writing some Node.js app, you are doing something that is crucial. You don't need to use the var keyword. If you want to lie some matrix in front end, yes, var keyword can qualify, can be something that that is usable. Let's try to put back the let keyword and see what is going to happen when we shift our variable here and put it over the console .log command. And let's try to run our node app. You can see now we have the result of an array that is giving us 3 names. So which means we have declared the variable the right way. So this is I can say this is a part of something that called hoisting. If you are going to learn about hoisting it comes to an end that if you are going to process, or if we are going to pass the right decorator or the right keyword to use, it is going to collect let and const as the right keywords to use to declare variables. So here is the second scenario. I'm going to use the const keyword, and I'm going to put it like this. I'm going to give it a variable names, or a variable type of names like this, and I'm going to close. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to say node app. You can see now const name. We have the error, we have run error, syntax error. What is the error saying? Missing initializer in const declaration. So which means we cannot create a constant variable and fail to give it a value or a data type we want to put inside that constant variable. Why do we use constant variable, and why we want constant variable? That's the thing I want to show you. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put an equal sign, and let's say this is a key we are using to unlock something in our app, or using to process our authentication part and so forth. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give our variable the name keys, and what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put a string with sequence of some characters that doesn't make sense, so that we can make our thing unique. So this is the key. So if I came here and say keys is equals to let's use the numbers now, and then if I come here and log our JavaScript file, the app, you can see here now we have another error. Let me try to clear my console and start again. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say node app. So you can see now we have a new error that is risen. Here we can see that we have this initialization of a new change we have tried to put on our constant variable keys. We take the key value and we have given it a new data type. What happens here? The type error is saying assignment to constant variable at object. Do you understand what it's trying to say? So that's why I say I want to break it in a simple and straightforward way you can understand. So if we use a constant variable, we are trying to declare a type of data we want to use, or we want to reuse for certain purposes. So it's something like a secret key that we cannot change because it's something like it's a third part data or third part uh, API we are using to do some authentication stuff or some encryption stuff. So we don't have access or the right to edit or to update anything on the API. We need to use the functions and the functionality or the data that is already dedicated in that API. So we don't need to mess up with that kind of variable. So that's where const come. We give const a access to lock our variable so that there is no way to change or to tamper with the variable characters. So what happens if you try to change that kind of variable, which means we are going to lose our application, or the application is going to break. So let's try to use the var keyword. We want to create a constant using the var keyword. Let's see what is going to happen if I can run my node up here. What you are going to see, let me try to console.log keys. This is keys. So if I can run my node up, you can see that our constant variable is changed, and we don't need to change it. We need it like that. We need to keep our secret key like as it is. So we don't have the reason to change. So that is another scenario that shows you that you don't need to use JavaScript, because you don't need to use var keyword in JavaScript. So you need to use JavaScript. It's a best language. It's an awesome language. So you can see that the var keyword is many errors and it is not that decisive. So I think I can give you a last example which I can create a variable or an if statement. I can say if color is equals to true, console.log if color is equals to okay, let me say var color is equals to paper. Then what I'm going to do here, I'm saying if color is equals to paper, okay, let me try to, if color is equals to paper, sorry, let me just check what is happening with this. Okay, no problem. Is equals to paper if color is equals to true. Let's say if color. So what I'm going to say here, I'm going to say console.log color. Sorry, this logic is not that professional, but there is something I want to show you that can happen when we are using the var keyword. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say node up undefined, color is undefined, let me try to use let keyword. var Okay, so let me try. If true, let's just leave like that. If color, okay, let's just try to do that and run again. If true, load up. Okay, so if it's true, console.log color, and you can see now we have our purple color. We use it to declare the variable color using var keyword. You can see now we are not able to access the color variable. If we come here and say load up, you can see that we have first an error, color is not defined. So there is many errors happening with the var keyword in JavaScript, and it is something that is confused. We don't need to output the variable that is inside this comparison operator. There is no need. It is wrapped inside a single process that we don't need to execute it out or what. Even if it is a function, you don't need to just take something out from the function. You need to output the function first so that you will be able to do anything or any operation with a function, object, or component. I don't know, but that's what is JavaScript. You just need to understand why you should use or why you shouldn't use var keyword. So thank you guys for being the part of this video. I think this is helpful. You find it helpful, and you know which right decorator to use when you are writing your JavaScript applications. See you next time. Peace.